Welcome to the Floor Chapstick podcast again, where we talk about anything and everything. This is another Saturday morning with me and Austin. Let's get it.
All right, what a beautiful intro. I love it. It's the best.
Thank you. I see we both have water today rather than sodas and energy drinks.
Yeah, because I don't feel like dying at the age of 24. I'm going to die at the age of 25 now.
I'm shooting for 40.
See, you have aspirations that are way too high for my personal taste. I already know that, like, for the longest time, my dad and I had a running joke. He's dying at 40, I'm dying at 39, so I can outdo him. Well, he's already been proven a liar because he's 42 now, so...
Your dad's 42. Wow,
my dad's 41, 42. I don't even remember anymore.
For the last 2 years, I've been telling people my dad's 47. So, Dad, you're 47.
Hi, Dad. You're 41, 2. I can't remember now. Born in 78, so he's 41. Haha, that's math. All right, so. We got a nice little plethora of topics again this week. The first one that we want to talk about is, Nate, you just downloaded the iOS 13 update, apparently.
I did, yes, and it's a lot. It's very different, I'd say. They have the number one thing that stands out to me the most that I don't like actually is the swipe to text now. Mm-hmm. It makes me feel like I hate it. It makes me feel like I'm using an Android phone. Like,
yeah,
you don't
that's why
have to use it
consistently.
You don't have to use it. It's just there for you if you want to. I just feel it's kind of like in the way.
My dad says the exact same thing. Like, he cannot stand it. I had to teach him how to disable it.
Like, I just don't know how to explain it very well. It's just like, I don't know. It gives me like a chill. Like, I don't like it, you know? But I do like, they have a dark mode. He
doesn't like it, folks.
Yeah, I don't like it. I do like the dark mode.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. There's also more.
Did Apple have themes beforehand, like without jailbreaking your phone? Could you download themes for?
I don't think so. I've only had an iPhone for a short amount of time, so I'm not sure about that one.
Yeah, because I have the black theme on my phone, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah,
so it's the best.
It's great. You can switch it on and off. I'm pretty sure dark mode kills more battery, but it's great for like when I'm at work and stuff like that. I don't need to turn my brightness down as much. Everything turns, like, the background turns just black. It's really cool.
I think it's more aesthetically pleasing too, especially when you have, like, if you go to Twitter and have dark mode on, everything's highlighted blue. Yeah, and then it's the blue on black. It looks so nice. It looks so sleek.
Yeah, it's great.
Google just came out with a dark mode too.
Really?
And I have that activated. Oh, I love it.
That's great.
I love it.
One thing I did want to touch on that we didn't put in the notes is the Joker movie.
Oh yeah, we were talking about that beforehand. Yeah,
that I was very, very disappointed. Really.
I feel like it's a very polarizing movie because, like I was saying beforehand, is that from my understanding, it's more of a character study of the Joker himself. And if you don't like movies like Taxi Driver with Robert De Niro, is that if you don't like those kind of movies, you are not going to like you're not gonna like that. You're not gonna like the Joker. It's supposed to be deep into his psyche and how he turned into the Joker.
It wasn't really like.
Mind you, I haven't seen it, guys. Just to let you know, I have not seen the movie. I'm just going off of what I have seen and other reviews that I've read.
And I'm not going to spoil it. And for Todd Phillips coming over from doing comedy movies like The Hangover to doing something as dramatic and serious as The Joker, it was good for him. Great attempt. It was a
golf claps.
Yeah. It was a good movie. But overall I just didn't like it.
Yeah, it wasn't for you.
The girl who played Domino in Deadpool was in it as well.
Oh, was she?
And like I couldn't shake that.
Yeah.
I couldn't get over the fact how frail and like small Joaquin Phoenix looked, and it made me really insecure.
Because he does
this that. Like, there's this scene where he's like, if you've seen the trailers, you see like how fucking frail he is when he's like reaching over his shoe. Mm-hmm. There's a scene where he's like dancing in the bathroom and you can see all his ribs, and I was like, oh shit.
I like that. I think that's a really like. In the context of the movie, I think that's powerful to the type of character that he is.
It took me till halfway through the movie to realize that Mark Maron and Brian Callen were in it. Mm-hmm. Brian Callen plays one of his coworkers, and then Mark Maron is like like a TV producer.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'm not gonna. I think I've said too much. There's one thing that I will tell you off the air. Oh no, I don't know if you're gonna see it or not.
I'm not gonna see it anytime soon.
It makes no fucking sense why they
there's a
did
lot
this.
of things that I've heard that don't make sense, so I probably have heard it. We'll keep it safe for
we'll
you
keep
guys.
it safe
Spoiler
for you
free.
guys. Spoiler free. But if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. I think you know what I'm talking about.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
So that was a fun little side tangent. So let's get back on track, shall we? So if you are within the Chicago suburb area, you will know. I'm sure it was probably national news to a certain degree because it's such a big area. The Woodfield Mall I'll call it a terrorist attack because it was premeditated. It was planned out by this dude, and I'll go ahead and call it an attack. A lot of new details have been released since the initial attack happened. I'm not going to show his face. I'm not going to say his name, anything like that, because I feel like people like that want the recognition for the most part. I don't know about this guy's motives, whatever it was, but there was a you said it was GoFundMe, correct?
Yeah, set up by his sister.
Yeah, trying to bring down the charges, which I thought it was a petition, not a GoFundMe, but she's essentially saying that my brother is not a terrorist and that it's not a terrorist attack. He just has mental health issues.
And on that point, I think that she makes a good point. But at the same time, when they released what his phone searches said,
124 searches of Woodfield plans, like floor plans, like where the construction blueprints and all that. It's premeditated to a degree that is inexcusable in the sense of trying to use that as a defense, saying that it was not premeditated.
As someone myself who struggles with mental health, I think it's good for. Excuse me.
Apparently struggles with his hands as well.
Yeah. Everything. I think it's good for her bringing men's mental health to light because I don't think I don't think that's talked about. It's definitely swept under the rug, and I'm not just saying that as a guy. I've talked to plenty of other people who are like, yeah, it's definitely swept under the rug. Mental health in general is swept under the rug.
Absolutely.
It does play a big part in this, but at the same time. And when I said on the air before off air earlier, when I said he was at the mall prior, I was wrong. He was there the day of, and then the day prior, he was actually released from a mental health area. And according to the GoFundMe by his sister, he didn't want to be released because he was still suffering from these voices in his head from schizophrenia.
Gotcha. I mean, so there are more layers than it's just the crazy dude trying to hurt people. There's a lot more to it.
I don't see what. I think his target was just the mall in general. I don't think it was a group of people, and I think that's where.
That's where it kind of draws that's where the line kind of is fuzzy. Like you can't draw a line to
and
because it was premeditated, and you could give him if he did kill somebody, you could give him second-degree murder because he went into that, he deliberately went into the mall to kill somebody.
Right.
So it's not necessarily even manslaughter. That's why it's hard to determine whether it was an act of terrorism, just a fucking crazy person who couldn't control himself or what. But I do think that saying that he shouldn't be punished for his own actions at all, that's where I draw the line.
I definitely think there needs to be some repercussions, but to a certain extent.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying throw him in prison for life.
The line with terrorism there is very, very blurred.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, because if he really does have mental health issues and all that is true, where he was in the mental institution and everything like that, that makes a huge difference. But the point still stands that if he didn't want to be released, you don't have to be released, as far as I know. You can recommit yourself if you absolutely he could do something that wasn't that extreme to recommit himself.
And I think some of these places allow you to self-recommit as well.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like you should be able to. So the fact that he didn't and then went and fucking just tried to mow down a bunch of people with a car, that's where you start going more towards the terrorism side.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. But at the same time, he also could have been at the mall earlier that day and seen that they were giving away the raffle for a car and wanted his car to be the one they gave away for the raffle.
Wow. Never thought about that. That's a great point. And on that note, we are moving on. So, I mean, this is actually a good segue into just briefly talking about mental health. I know that this was going to be a bigger segment, but we kind of decided to either save it or just push it off and not do it, whatever the case is. But I do feel like it is important because both of us, I know off of what you've told me and then me knowing what I've experienced, mental health is something that is just not as it's getting a lot more accepted to talk about now.
Yeah.
But specifically men's mental health, coming from a guy who struggled with a lot of depressive thoughts, a lot of shit. I wasn't as bad as a lot of people are and were throughout my life and throughout what I've heard from other people's lives. I'm not saying that I am completely on the same level, but when I was at my lowest, I was really low.
Yeah.
Like not going to be around kind of low.
I mean, I'll be the first to admit that I've tried to, not be around. And by that, I mean, like, I've tried to, honestly, I've tried to kill myself before. I went to a mental health institution for it. It was it was a long time ago, sophomore year, I think.
So that would be 5 years ago?
5 or 6. About
Something
6.
like that, yeah.
Almost 6, yeah. Oh, actually, next May will be 7.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's crazy to think about.
Yeah, and in those 7 years, I've still struggled with
It never really goes
these
away.
depressive thoughts. I was, found out I was misdiagnosed originally, and that I actually have bipolar disorder.
Okay.
Which runs in my family on my father's side, which I wasn't really too surprised about. And that is something that it's the best way to describe it is like being on the American Eagle, but that American Eagle is that roller coaster is your emotions, and when you're going forwards, it's a great day. But all of a sudden, they could switch the track, and you could go fucking backwards, and just like that, it could be a bad day. And you could,
although going backwards on the American Eagle is kind of cool.
Yeah, that's fun.
I understand that. I'm not trying to.
There's sometimes it's like the littlest thing will set me off and ruin my whole day, and I'll just be like a fucking dick to everyone for the rest of the day. And the thing is, like, I don't fucking put it together that I'm being an asshole. Yeah,
it's just like being self-aware, and I think we've talked about this on the podcast before. Being self-aware isn't always the easiest thing.
No, it's really not.
Did you already run out of water?
I did, yeah.
Wow, real nice.
I just took a sip out of an empty glass.
But to kind of wrap up this topic, because I know we didn't want to talk about it for very long, we just kind of want to touch on it. Like, it is a serious issue. Don't ever expect to be alone in something like that. It is something to be taken seriously, and we know that.
And if you do need help, I honestly 100% suggest go get it. Like, try.
Yeah.
Don't. It does get better. It may take a while, and it's not going to happen overnight. It might happen overnight, but at the same time, it does get better. But you're still going to have your moments where it's like, holy shit.
Oh, where you really struggle, and it's not easy. Yeah,
but
absolutely.
You surround yourself with the right people. If if you're one of those people who take medication, I personally don't.
Yeah, I never did. I actually technically was never diagnosed. That's why I don't really consider my mental health as bad as others, because it very well could have been. And it's not any delegitimized compared to someone who was diagnosed, but sometimes just talking to people helps.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And it all depends on the person, because if you talk to somebody and it doesn't help, that might be the case. That could always be the case. Don't expect it to always be the case, because I feel like getting help isn't always necessarily the right option. I know it sounds counterintuitive, because I didn't go get help besides just kind of getting over it, which isn't. Don't take that as advice to just get over it. Please don't think I'm saying that's what you should do. But you really need to find what works for you.
Right, but at the same time, if you are one of if you think that getting help will make it better, then do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take that step.
Don't make any excuses.
And it's not embarrassing to do so. It's not a bad thing to say, hey, I'm struggling with this and I need some fucking help, man.
It's stronger
like,
to get help than it is to not get help.
Yeah.
But and that's where the stigma comes, especially from a guy's perspective.
Yeah.
Like it's as a guy, it's a lot harder to go talk to people.
Because you're raised as a male, you're raised to be like, just like the head of the household.
Yep.
And you're supposed to. I personally was raised to bottle my emotions, don't talk about it, no one fucking cares.
Yep.
And I feel like a lot of guys are raised like that, and that's the problem.
My dad didn't necessarily raise me like that, but he's always been like that. Like I've never seen him get any emotion in terms of like. He's sad, but he's not going to go and cry, and he's not going to go and like give somebody a hug or something like that.
My dad was like that for a long time. And then the closer he and I got, the more open he got about his emotions. And I think there's some people who are completely reserved about it and will be for the rest of their life. And and that's their way of dealing with it.
Oh, absolutely.
And you don't want to, everyone has their own way of dealing with things.
So yeah.
And it's not just men's mental health too. If you're a woman and you're watching this,
absolutely.
Fucking, and mental health in general is in society is completely swept under the rug still. It's prevalent and we talk about it a lot, but it's still 1000%. Yeah. Oh, definitely. It's like threesomes.
Except for a lot less fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Depression is just a less fun threesome. That we should put that on a shirt. We really shouldn't.
I think that schizophrenia would be a less fun threesome. A less fun orgy.
We'll just put mental.
Mental health is a less fun threesome.
Yeah.
If you're a merchandise company and you want to fucking hop on that, let us know.
I feel like that'd be something that you would see on in like Spencer's.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got that out of the way. That was kind of a kind of more serious topic. I think it is nice that we get serious topics out of the way.
Yeah.
Like last week was really nice. Like 3 weeks ago was really good. It's kind of nice to be able to get stuff out there like that.
Yeah. And I think it's going to attract a bigger audience as well.
Well, let's not get that far. But to transition from mental health, something that a lot of people might use to get away from themselves is the marijuana.
Oh.
And so in case you don't know, Illinois did
it's
pass
the motherfucking WED.
Fuck off. They did pass a bill saying that pot was going to be legal January 1st, I believe it was.
Yes.
And Illinois in Schaumburg conveniently is holding essentially a hiring event for the new dispensaries coming this year.
Yeah, so if you're a bud tender, that's what they are called.
Is that really?
That's what they're called. They're called
That's
bud
awesome.
tenders. In the state of Colorado, that's what they're called. But if you're a bud tender from Colorado and you're looking for a job, this shithole of a state's fucking hiring.
Absolutely. Am I being covered by my mic stand again? It always every week it happens.
Not really. Some little popped up above my
There we
head,
go.
but whatever.
Look at that. So
You know what I just thought of real quick? Last week when you said we were going to touch on it, something, and then I started talking about it and you looked like this, and I was like, what the fuck did I just say?
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, because we were talking about I put in there, or I was saying we need to stop getting off on tangents, and then immediately after I say back to my original point, you go on another tangent. I'm like, what the fuck did I just say? And then I love how the thumbnail for the video was the part where you were looking at the camera while you were blowing out your little vape, and I said, "Yeah, we see you, asshole." So that ended up being the thumbnail unintentionally.
And the goddamn clickbait title.
I don't care if it's clickbait, because if it's true, it's good clickbait.
See, the thing is, I've always thought clickbait was fake news.
No. Clickbait is not. Clickbait is
Clickmate?
Clickmate. People
Who's
consider
fucking up with their
clickbait
words this week, motherfucker?
1 time compared to 6. And that's not even. It was more than
track?
that. No, we should keep track, like a little tally. I was gonna keep track of like all the burns that we had on you specifically, because I had like 3 and Maria had 5, I think it was.
Yeah.
I was gonna do like a little tally, but I got lazy. What a surprise. But the problem with clickbait is that it is usually associated with being not true, fake news, bullshit. But it can still be true if it's clickbait. Clickbait is literally just that. It's baiting your click. It wants you to click on it. It is telling you, hey, this crazy thing happened. You should see how it happened. Yeah. So clickbait is not
I'm gonna do that
inherently
22
wrong.
times this episode for each view we got last week. That's 3.
That's the word. No,
Got
please
19 more, motherfuckers.
Please don't do that.
I don't know how many that was.
That was like 5.
So that's what, 8? I'm not gonna do the math now because I'm gonna sound dumb.
So now on to sports. That's literally what I wrote in my notes. On to sports.
All right, let's fucking get into it.
The rest of the episode is gonna be pretty much sports unless we go on another tangent.
If you tune out, bye.
Bye. I love you. Thanks for sticking around for 20 minutes.
Yeah, right.
So now, the Fair Pay to Play Act was something passed in the state of California, saying that student athletes may now be compensated for having their likeness or their like if the NCAA if their team sells a jersey with the back of their name on it, they are allowed to get compensation for it, which was something that was never around.
Right.
And I absolutely love that
Yeah,
bill.
it should have been done
passed.
It should have been done when they were making the NCAA football games. Really.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And that's why they stopped. That's why they stopped making them for the most part.
Yeah, but you still can't take money from boosters.
Yeah. Which I mean, the problem that I've always had with the naysayers of bills and acts like this is that they say, "Oh, they're getting a free education." Yeah, but when your entire
Dude, you're putting your
scholarship
life on the line.
Yeah, you literally are. But when you're getting a scholarship as a football player, most of the time it's an athletic scholarship. It's not it is not an academic one. So 90% of the time, you will have guys who go under the radar with their education, and no one cares because you're an athlete. You're not meant to be smart.
I mean, look at Larry Fitzgerald, dude. He's got a fucking doctorate.
Yeah,
that's from the University of Phoenix, but
still, there's a difference though. It's like the only reason that Shaq even went to college instead of going straight out of high school.
Too.
His mother said, "Can you do your own taxes? Can you manage your checkbook?" He's like, "No." Like, then you're going to college for at least a year. So it's not always fair to say, "Oh, you're getting a free education." If you're a one and done, you're not getting a free education.
Right.
So why should a guy like Saquon Barkley, did he play more than 1 year?
Yeah, he played all 4.
Fuck. If you got a one and done, I can't name any off the top of my head. If you get any one and dones in football, which is
90% of the people play in the NBA.
Yeah, exactly. For some reason, my mind was going to football, even though most NFL players that are still in the league aren't one and dones.
You can't do one and dones in the NFL. You have to play a minimum of 2 years.
Oh well, shit. Fuck me. Basketball. Off to basketball then. You have these one and dones like a Zion Williamson.
I think actually you have to have a minimum of 3 college athletic seasons under your belt
For the NFL?
So if you redshirt your freshman year, play your sophomore year,
and then play your junior year,
then you're eligible.
Gotcha.
But if you're a true freshman, you play your sophomore year. Like after this season, Trevor Lawrence could declare for the draft if he wanted to.
Okay.
Might be wrong. I think you might have to play at least 3, but I'm not sure.
I don't
Brandon
know.
Whedon
The
was
NFL
drafted when
is
he was
weird.
28 years old.
Yeah, but he also started college late, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So either way, so we'll talk about the NBA then in this case, which is typically where you see the one and dones, because baseball you get drafted out of high school,
Zion
and the
Williamson
NHL you
was
don't
our
even have
best-
to go to high
is
school.
The most recent one and done.
Yeah, at least the most prevalent one and done of recent times. So you're getting guys, it's like you're getting a free education. They're really not. That's why I do honestly think that you should be compensated for when you're making a corporation billions of dollars.
Right.
Billions. That's not millions with an M, billions with a B. You are making this organization, the NCAA specifically, not even including your school, which is still making millions. You're making this corporation how much money, and you're expected to play for education. 90% of the time, they just take the easiest class that they can because they know they're going to the NBA if they're good enough.
Right.
So
And most of the time, it's just gen eds.
yeah.
Like follow up on high school stuff.
Yep, absolutely. So that's why I am for it, because you're having these guys bust their ass for an entire season for you just to get a pat on the back saying, good job, this is what you were supposed to do, which is fair, sort of, but also at the same time, what if they get injured? They're fucked.
Yeah, I think that's where the money, I think that's where it more is what it's more about, is that if protecting the player's health, it's all about, I think it's more about player health.
Sure. But I think one big thing now off from the money topic is the naysayers are saying that you are getting a lot of college recruitment to California now because they're the only state that has that enacted at this point,
Right, but
which is
everyone
fair.
else is gonna follow pretty soon.
Yeah, definitely. The thing is, though,
Everyone except for probably like Bama.
yeah, probably. The thing is that that is true. You will get the guys who are going to go there for the money, but those same people aren't always the top recruits because they still want to go to college to try and win a championship
Right.
at the same time. Because winning a college championship is just as great for your like dream as it is winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And if you're going to a California school, you're not winning a championship anytime soon. At least as far as I can. I mean, what, USC?
Yeah,
And
or
even
maybe
then, they're
even
not that great.
UCLA with Chip Kelly.
Even then, that's pushing it. So, I mean, if you want,
I totally forgot Chip Kelly went back to coaching college.
Yeah. But I mean, in terms of the overall quality of the NCAA, I don't think it's going to change all that much yet.
No, it definitely won't.
Now, if you start spreading out to Louisiana, Alabama, then you're definitely going to get a lot more recruits going to Alabama or Ohio, or Michigan. Like these teams who are already getting them, if you get paid to do it now, that's when it'll get screwed up. But if you have like 2 or 3 good teams in the entire state, that's not going to help. And they're not even that good teams, like where they're contenders for the thing, unless it's like a fluke season, you know. So I'm fully for it. That was kind of my bottom line, is that I am 100% for it.
Yeah, me too.
So now to NFL, where athletes are getting paid no matter what. The first thing I wanted to touch on,
kickers.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Relax. So first thing for the NFL, before we get into our predictions for the week, is Shaq Barrett. Shaquille Barrett is a defensive end. I think he's
a monster.
He's a I call him a down lineman, even though he's a 3-4 outside linebacker like a Khalil Mack.
Mm-hmm. He's a defensive end.
Yeah, he's essentially a defensive end. He has 9 sacks in 4 games. Now, if you're listening to this and don't understand sports, you're probably lost on what that means. If you know what a sack is, that's when a defensive player tackles the quarterback before he can get rid of the ball. That's essentially what it is. Sacks are a really great indicator of like how quickly if you have a good team, I should say, because if you have a bad team, then sacks aren't great, because if you're the only good player on a bad team, you're going to be double teamed every single time. But if you're on a good team and you have,
like Seattle did this on Thursday,
yeah,
fucking Aaron Donald,
9 sacks in 4 games. To put into perspective, the record is 22.5. I believe it is, by Michael Strahan back in 2004, and that was in 16 games. So if you do the math, if you're a smart little math boy, he is on pace. Shaq Barrett is on pace for 36 sacks, 13.5 more than the previous record. If he can hold pace, he's not going to, but if he can hold pace, 36 sacks.
I think he's gonna end up with like 15 this year. He'll take
honestly,
DPOY.
Yeah. I think he's gonna drop off for 2 to 3 weeks. He's not gonna have anything, depending on who they're playing, because I don't know their schedule.
Who does he play for?
Tampa Bay. The thing is that Tampa Bay has a solid defense. They do. They're not good, but they're solid.
Like Jacksonville's team.
Kind of, yeah. But what was I saying? Oh yeah. I think Shaquille Barrett's probably gonna have max 19 sacks.
Yeah.
Max. I don't think he's gonna break the record like a lot of people are saying.
Didn't someone get close recently? I think it was Aaron Donald.
Watt. Aaron Donald had 20 last year. J.J. Watt had 22 or something like that 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So there have been players who have been close, but none to the degree that Shaq Barrett has been. Because if you watch him play, I recently watched a video. I think I've referenced this guy's videos before. I don't want to say the name. I might link him in the description because I absolutely love his content. So I can't. I think it's Brett Coleman. I want to say it's Brett Coleman. He has amazing videos on football, and he is able to break things down far better than I ever could.
The algorithm of YouTube will put some of his videos probably below this one.
Probably.
Because they do that with... You know what's great about the YouTube algorithm, real quick, is that they put the JRE stuff right below ours.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. They put Joe Rogan stuff right below us, so...
Well, I mean...
If you like Joe Rogan, you like us, but they don't put us below Joe Rogan. So
well, of course, because we're peons compared to him. But either way, I recommend Brett Coleman because he broke down how good Shaquille Barrett really is, and he is scary. He makes Khalil Mack at this point of the season, of course. Currently, he makes Khalil Mack look like Khalil Mack makes a Derek Wolfe look.
Yeah, but Khalil Mack doesn't play like third or fourth quarter. He only plays like the first half of the fucking game.
Oh, he plays the entire game. He just takes a lot of breaks. He will
Yeah.
play. He will play a series. Say the defensive series has 12
No, last
snaps.
week he was
he'll play
out.
8.
Last week Matt Nagy took him out for the entire fucking second half.
He took a lot of the defense out for the second half because the defense was just destroying them, and even the backups were killing the Vikings. So that's why. Because with Roquan and Akeem Hicks, two of their best defensive players, they dominated the Vikings. So he's like, let's just throw in the backups and play safe, which is something that I fucking hate. That the Bears have done that since Lovie Smith.
The Vikings need a new quarterback.
They do. I mean, I was a Kirk Cousins apologist for a long time.
Me too.
I think we talked about this in the first, one of the first 3 episodes, something like that. I went off on a rant about how he's really not that bad. But he's completely proven me wrong so far.
Yeah. He's the new Case Keenum of the NFL.
I wouldn't be surprised. So either way, Shaq Barrett was insane. This week's predictions, let me pull up our records. Currently, we are sitting at me. I'm 40, 18, and 1, plus 40 points. I got another 2 scores correct this week, so I had another 10. And Nate is at 37, 21, and 1 with a plus 30 because he only got 1 score correct this week. Nate actually beat me out. I was 8 and 6 this week with plus 10. He was 9 and 5, but with only plus 5. So I gained 2 points of a lead still. So I am in the lead by 19 points, 160 to 141. So it's still close. I'm not going to say it's not close, but god damn it, I have been the week that we both went 10 and 5, which was week 2. I had 2 scores correct and you only had 1 score correct. So that boosted an extra 5 on top of us having the same record. Got lucky on there. But yeah, it's a close race. And in case you guys don't remember what our little bet was, it's that the loser has to pay for parking at Soldier Field. We're going to go to a game next season. We'll figure out the game once we see the season, and we'll try and find the cheapest tickets possible because holy shit are the Bears expensive.
Yeah.
But so they have to pay for Soldier Field parking, which is like $40 to $50 minimum usually. And then the loser also has to dress up, most likely in some sort of outfit determined by the winner.
Yeah.
And it could be anything. I already have a good idea. If I lose what it could be, I would throw a suggestion out there if I lose. But I'm not going to throw it out there yet because,
This
I have no reason
motherfucker doesn't
to.
think he's going to lose.
I have no reason to doubt it so far. So this week's game of the week, I personally have it Bears at Oakland because those are our 2 favorite teams. That's the one I'm going to be watching for, especially since it's in London. It's going to be a really cool game.
See, I was going to go with Dallas and Green Bay because of the fucking powerhouse that both of those goddamn defenses are.
And offenses at this point.
Yeah, really.
I mean, as long as Dak Prescott plays well and Aaron Rodgers doesn't have an off game.
I used to be such a Dak Prescott hater. I hate him so much. But after the way he's been playing this season,
yeah, it's kind of hard to
God
hate
damn
him.
those fucking Cowboy fans. It's hard to hate him now.
Yeah.
Especially coming out of Mississippi State, I was like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah. Mr. 4th round pick turning into, potentially one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league, which I don't think he should be.
No, he definitely not. But they'll pay him.
Yeah.
Jerry World.
So now here's our predictions. I think I already did this earlier. It might pop them back up. Woo! There they are. I don't know. The last 2 weeks I've been kind of iffy in terms of what I wanted to pick because I didn't think about them up until the day I was supposed to post the video, and then I edited the video together and had my predictions. Last week wasn't that great for me. Like I said, 8 and 6, but the week before that was my best week, 11 and 4, not including the tie in week 1. So we'll see how it
Wait,
goes.
did we tie week 1?
There was a
Lions
tie, the
and
Lions and Cardinals.
game, yeah.
You went 9-5-1, I went 11-3-1. Because I remember I started 8-0 to start.
Yeah.
And then I think I had 1 loss, then the tie. So I was 8-1-1, and then it just fell off. Because then I went 3-2 the last 5 games. So yeah, I don't even know who has a bye week this week. Fuck it. You'll see it on the infograph. So now Nate has a little rant for you before I have a rant.
Oh,
so
these goddamn kickers in the NFL, man. They need to do away with the whole fucking kicking position.
I disagree. I love kickers.
All right, look. So I took some notes on this. Kickers were introduced in 1957. They were widely accepted in 1960. Yet the game of football had been a 7-point game already since the 1800s.
Yeah.
So why the fuck do we need an extra fucking person to be like, boop?
I feel like that adds another element in the game because then you get situations where it completely, because you can, if you have your kicker miss a kick, that can actually completely screw you over. So
Yeah, that's the point.
and I love
what
that.
the fuck?
That adds another element to the game of, do you trust your kicker? Because look at if you didn't have kickers, guess what would have happened last year? The Bears would have moved on because they wouldn't have had to worry about a kicker. So that's what sure, it ended up hurting my favorite team, but.
Look at fucking Greg Zuerlein last week, dude. Fucking Greg Zuerlein is 99% of the time goddamn money from no matter where it is on the field.
That's why that's why you need to have the kicking position, because of that uncertainty. Because sure, you can have the guy who's automatic like Robbie Gould, and then
He's not automatic.
he has the 4th best percentage in the league, and he's missed 2 kicks since he was.
Yeah, you know who is the best percentage in the league? You know who's the best kicker of all time? If we were gonna fucking pick a kicker, goddamn Steven Gostowski.
If you're talking about
Adam
percentage,
Vinatieri, no,
if you're talking about
Vinatieri.
percentage, I think maybe Vinatieri I think has the best percentage ever. But guess
Who was that fucking kicker for the Falcons back in the day?
Anderson? Morton Anderson?
I thought he was a quarterback.
No. Morton Anderson is a kicker.
He's on the NFL today, isn't he?
No. He hasn't been in the league for like 15 years.
The Mort Report.
Oh, NFL Network you're talking about? Oh, God.
No,
I thought you were talking
ESPN.
about okay. I thought you were talking about, is he still in the NFL now? Like, no. But
God, no.
And Robbie Gould is number 4 all time in percentage all time, and
He's never coming back to Chicago.
No, of course not. I've already accepted that. I'm not like those assholes who we need Robbie Gould back. Nah.
No, you got Money Pinero.
I mean, he's not. He hasn't been bad lately, and I like him.
He's
This
a
season.
former soccer player turned
Most kickers are
kicker, but
that's why
is,
soccer style kicking has become so prevalent, and actually
that's
the only way.
That's
to
when
kick.
it was widely accepted was in 1960.
Soccer style kickers didn't come into popularity until the 70s or 80s.
Oh, you're right.
Because it was straight toe kickers. Yeah. But
which is, if you're not gonna get rid of that, get rid of the soccer style kickers and fucking bring back the
straight-legged kickers.
Yeah.
That will decrease accuracy. But yeah, don't even try and test me on
then
that.
they'll realize that maybe we don't need these fucking guys.
No, you need kickers because that adds an element to the game that makes you be more strategic. If you just throw for a touchdown, get 7 points, that completely takes away a point of the game.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does. If you
they were playing it perfectly fine for 157 years that way. Why all of a sudden do we need to change it?
Organized football wasn't around until like the 1870s, if that.
Okay, 100 something years.
That would be 80.
Whatever.
By the way,
fucking
and plus
80 something years of organized football already functioning perfectly fine, and then we introduced this new position.
No, you know why it wasn't? You know why you're wrong on that? It wasn't working perfectly fine because you had more deaths in football than you did any other sport until the 50s. That's when organizations were really made. Like the NCAA was close. But when you had so many deaths that Teddy Roosevelt had to fucking stop because his nephew died playing football, like from a concussion or whatever, it was a head injury.
Well, Teddy Roosevelt invented American football.
He didn't invent it. He solidified what it should be. He helped set the rules and set the regulations, which included the line of scrimmage. He helped set up the game for guys like what's his face, Heisman. What's his first name? I can't remember his name. Heisman.
I thought it was just an award.
No, it's named after one of the greatest players and coaches of all time. He used to be a college coach. If you've ever heard of the game, if you guys have ever heard of the Georgia Tech versus Cumberland game, 222-0, Heisman was the coach of that Georgia Tech team that absolutely obliterated Cumberland. There's a John Boy's video on YouTube that perfectly describes what happened. It was monstrous. He's the one who created the forward pass, the quarterback calling hike, the scoreboard showing the down and yardage to go.
Heisman?
Yeah, Heisman. Teddy Roosevelt helped solidify the game, but so this is way.
I'm gonna
early.
find
This
his
is-
name real quick.
I can't remember.
Because it's gonna bother me.
And
if I
the
don't.
time frames are different. Don't like quote me on time frames because Teddy Roosevelt was after. But both of those guys were what helped solidify the game. So the game was not perfect.
John Heisman.
John Heisman. The game was not perfect up until then. Until kickers were added.
This
It was
is such
not.
a
It was
boring
far
first name.
from. Yeah, right. But it was
John too.
far from perfect. So saying that kickers were what ruined the league is not true.
Kickers have the most injuries in the league too.
Well, yeah, because I mean, you're trying to fucking boot a ball as hard as you can every time. It's
not
like
only in your
it's like
foot,
a pitcher.
dude. It's,
Oh, yeah.
You get the majority
the
of
knee.
the majority of it's groin.
Oh yeah, groin. Yeah. But that's like that's like saying that pitchers ruin the game. It's like, why don't you put the ball on a tee and let him hit it off the
No,
tee?
that's not. No, that's not even fucking close.
I know it's not. It was an exaggeration, but my point being is that saying that kickers are unnecessary is just wrong. It adds an element to the
I don't
game
know.
that
I think
you
they're
have to rely on a
unnecessary.
kicker. If you can have a kicker that is 99.9 repeating percent on point, but that .00 infinity to the very last is a 1, that is what can really affect it, and that adds strategy to the game. That adds a point to the game. I
Fuck
don't,
kickers.
I love kickers.
Fuck 'em
Comment
all.
down below. Kickers or no kickers? Hashtag kicker battle 2019. Hashtag Nate's wrong again.
No fucking kickers.
I love the kickers. So now,
Damn, if I was, that could have been taken. No fucking kickers. That could have been taken. If I said that a little bit slower and slurred, that could have been taken very, very badly.
I don't know. I think it would have gone great for your image.
We're not doing that this time, Austin. No, we are not.
I
not
would do it, but
again.
I don't feel like.
And if you don't know what
editing
we're
that.
referencing, go back to what was it?
4 episodes ago.
4 episodes ago.
It was 4 or 5. I want to say it was episode 6 or 7. I can't recall.
We just don't bring up race around Austin. We'll leave it at
Okay,
that.
fuck off. It was a joke. You're the racist one.
Are you what position did you play?
What? Are you gonna try and use my joke from last week?
Yeah, I am.
Because that's not backpedaling. That's just that's calling you out. And plus, I played manager my senior year because I was injured.
Fucking guy.
All right. So now
He
This
made
is-
sure the water bottles were cold.
no, that wasn't my job. My job was to stand around and be a cheerleader essentially, because I couldn't even suit up that year.
Oh,
Yeah, it was bad.
manage the fucking water bottles being cold.
I drank a lot of Gatorade though. That was great.
Something about that on-field Gatorade hits different than a
It does,
regular
doesn't
Gatorade.
it? Oh, it's great.
It's so watered down.
Yeah, but it's not at the same
Oh.
time. It's either way too strong or way too, because they use the powder.
Yeah,
And
the lemon lime.
Yeah.
Oh,
I still have like little jugs of those when I want Gatorade, and I don't feel like buying some.
dude, it hits. It's something about that hits different.
Yeah, I don't know. So now,
The 2-a-days, and then they fucking.
Yep.
Ah!
I when I was during
I sound like I
training camp.
peaked in high school.
Yeah. When I was in training camp, because I got injured, like I had a lot of injury problems throughout, so then I just ended up not playing, and then I got hurt again. During training camp, when they would do sprints and I wasn't able to participate, whether it was that day or that week or whatever, I had Gatorade in my fucking Bubba keg, and it was cold the entire time, and everybody loved it. I was the fucking hero of the team, and that's that was the peak of my football experience. It wasn't, but I'm gonna say it was.
Man, I remember just like sometimes I would go to the trainers just for the goddamn
Yeah.
Gatorade.
Oh man, during wrestling season, the wrestling room always had cold Gatorade inside the jugs for after school every time.
I remember there was one time in my senior year, someone fucked up their back, and he was like, "Coach, can we just do like a team ballet? Go do ballet as a team. It'll help with my back and everyone's balance." And Coach Split was like, "Fuck no!" Like,
Dude, I love Coach Split. I love him so much.
but
I want
we
to
did end
contact
up
him.
going.
I want to contact him. I want to see how he's doing. Okay,
He
so now
he works at Frem now.
I thought he was still at Palatine.
No, he's not the coach anymore.
I know he's not the
remember
coach.
Remember Olsen, the
Yeah, no,
offensive
he's still
line?
coach.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
head coach now.
I know. I actually saw him. I went to one of the red and white games. I didn't go to it, but I was outside there.
His first year coaching the offensive line was my senior year.
Okay.
And then the next year he got promoted to head coach. And the
No,
grade
it was
2
the
years?
year after me.
Yeah.
It was the year after my senior year.
I remember. Oh yeah, you're right, because I remember that your senior year split. Everyone, like, the word was like, everyone, oh, Split's on his way out. Like he doesn't want to coach anymore.
Yeah.
Which
And then ended up going undefeated. Zach broke his collarbone, and then we lost in the semifinals.
where does Zach play now? NIU, right?
Whitewater.
Oh, Whitewater. He
Yeah.
plays up there with Mackenzie, right?
Yep. And then I think Cortland was gonna go there until his accident happened, which. Well, that's another
Rest
kinda,
easy, man.
Yeah, that's
We fucking miss you, dude.
yeah. That sucks. I remember the night that I heard about that, I was with one of my friends, and I was like, no fucking way. That hit.
I didn't want to believe it,
Neither did I. And then once I saw Mackenzie tweet about it, I was like, shit.
dude. His service was fucking.
That was.
Everyone was there.
What sucks is I didn't. I regret it now to a certain extent, but I didn't feel like I would be welcome as much, so I didn't get to. I
felt
go.
the same way, but I went either way because I knew as not I didn't go because not just to support his. I went to support his family, him, and just
Get closure kind of deal.
Once, like, the thing, yeah, that, and like Split said before, once a pirate, always a pirate.
Yeah.
It's it's your fault. It's a fallen brother, is what it really
Oh,
is.
absolutely. And like I said, I still regret not going. I still kind of have that regret in my mind. Like, shit, I should have just stopped by or something.
Yeah.
But just at that time, what sucks is I was working for like a good half of it, so I would have been late anyway.
Yeah.
And I just like I don't know if I would have been welcomed as much as say Mackenzie or like someone who's close to him would have been.
When I saw when I was told and read what happened, I was like, "There's no fucking way." Like,
Yeah, that's what I thought too. It's like, how?
the situation, it was like, no fucking way. There's no. And then, like you said, when I saw Mackenzie tweet about it, I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. That
I
hit
think
hard.
it fucked up. Like, obviously, it fucked up his brother, his family, but I think it really, really, really fucked with Mackenzie, and it still does.
Absolutely. I remember I saw him. Well, I saw both Mackenzie and Cortland the Thanksgiving before it happened.
Oh, shit.
Because I was working that Black Friday, and they stopped by just going shopping or
Yeah.
whatever. And I was like, and he actually genuinely seemed happy to see me. Like, he was like, oh, he saw me right. They saw me before I saw them.
Yeah.
And Cortland called out for me. I'm like, oh, hey, what's up? What's going on, guys? And I was like, man, that was nice, because he and I were like cool our senior year. We weren't like close friends or
Yeah.
anything. But it was like, that was only 4 months before it happened. 5 months.
Yeah, dude, it was.
And I just remember seeing that. I'm like, and then I saw Mackenzie probably about 2 months after it happened. I didn't bring it up to him, but you could still see that he was like
Beaten down.
we both knew that we knew what happened, and we both kind of accepted it and didn't want to bring it up. We're just like, you know what? We're cool. This is about us saying hi to each other and just,
Yeah.
like catching up for like that 30 seconds that we were talking while I was at work.
Yeah.
And that was a moment that was like, shit.
You never think that, like, someone like that is, you think someone like that's gonna live a long, like, someone.
Well, he was
like
a good
that,
kid.
They're gonna live a long, happy life, but then, that's the fucking crazy thing about life, dude, is they could be gone within an instant. And
that's why
it fucking hits the people who, like, don't the most, I think.
Absolutely. Someone like him, he's a good kid. He always he was kind of a numbskull, but I mean, he never really meant harm on anybody as far as I knew. So that's the part that was kind of like, fuck.
Yeah.
That why him kind of deal. And that was something that really was that was crazy.
I fucking feel terrible for his girlfriend too, man. She was fucking there.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit.
Yeah, I couldn't even imagine. That's oof.
Oh man.
All right.
Moving on.
Well, yeah, let's
get
move on. That got real deep real quick, and no one's gonna understand it unless they knew Cortland or anyone from
Which
school.
is the fucking nobody who watches this.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. This is something that, guys, if you were watching this and you don't have any idea what we're talking about, it's a big story, and it's something that we don't really feel comfortable touching on without having any sort of.
Long story short, a former teammate of ours passed away due to just the most unfortunate circumstances.
Yeah, it was a really fucked up accident. So, It still clearly it still affects all of us around here. So we're not going to disclose any personal information or anything like that. So it is what it is. Sorry for getting off track. Sorry if you got a little confused on what's going on.
Wipe your fucking tears, you little bitch.
So
Talking to myself.
this is the big topic that I remember I ended off the episode last week with getting mad about. And that is
Here we go.
overpaid athletes. Specifically, the reason that I got mad about it was Bryce Harper's contract. It was the biggest contract in the MLB before Mike Trout's. Now, I am not.
Now, Mike Trout's not overpaid, though.
I don't think he is. But that's what I'll get to. So just to clarify, I am not saying that athletes do not deserve the money that they make 95% of the time, because people say, "Oh, we should pay our troops that much." Any fucking jagoff can go join the army, though. Not any jagoff can join the NFL.
Oh, they're talking like top fucking.
Even top soldiers, it's kind of hard to say. Like colonels and everything, they still make decent money as far as I know.
What about someone like Chris Kyle?
Honestly, I know who you're referencing. I don't have any word on that though. Like obviously, it's all I'm trying to get all I'm trying to get across is the point. God, that's number 2 for me. The only point I'm trying to get across is that
my dumbassness is rubbed off on you.
Yeah, right. Stop rubbing off on me.
I keep drinking from this empty cup.
Here, bring your mug over.
Thank you.
Oh, some ASMR for you.
Yeah. It's water, folks.
Yeah, it very well could be a little bit of Monster and Powerade.
Yeah, that's what it smells like.
Because my Monster was in there this morning.
But
not
that
sponsored.
is fucking cold.
Yeah, it's nice. These things are great. Best $10 I've spent in the past like 2-3 weeks. Smell the energy. So I am not.
Hold on, real quick. On the tangent time. Energy drinks. I had 2 Bang Energies yesterday for the first time.
That's why you couldn't fucking sleep. Jesus.
No, but I slept. I just was like almost had a fucking heart, dude. I felt after I had like half of that first Bang, I felt like I did a rail. Like, holy shit.
You got banged and railed.
Fucking and put away wet.
Ugh. Okay. Let's not
by energy drinks.
Let's not go any further into that. All I was trying to say is I am not saying that athletes don't deserve to be paid a lot, because you're making the NFL billions of dollars and you're making your teams hundreds of millions of dollars. Look at Jerry Jones, bought the Cowboys for $150 million. Now it's a $4 billion corporation. His players deserve to be paid. The Bears players deserve to be paid. Khalil Mack, the best defensive lineman in the league, or one of them, or I guess technically outside linebacker, whatever. They deserve to get paid more so than Johnny Fuckface, who's just gonna go through any boot camp that I could go to if I decide to get my fat ass in the gym and lose some weight.
Right.
It's like there's a difference. So don't think I'm shitting on players for getting paid, because they deserve to be. So the thing that I'm talking about is players like Bryce Harper. He is one of the best talents in the league. I shall not deny that. I cannot deny that. If anyone who doesn't denies that is ignorant to the facts.
You dumb.
But, big but. Like this butt makes my butt look like Nate's. When you have a player like Bryce Harper who gets paid $26 million a year for, I think it's 7 years or 10 years, something crazy like that. It might even be longer. When you have a player like this, you should expect to get the best. So what I have here is 4 players, all of different price points, starting with Bryce Harper, going to Mike Trout, then to Christian Yelich.
Oh, fuck that dude. He's overpaid like a motherfucker.
No, he's not. I will show you why. And then Jeff McNeil is the very bottom. He is the one who makes the least. So, Bryce Harper. I'll do Bryce Harper versus Mike Trout right away. Bryce Harper makes $26 million a year. Mike Trout makes $33.25 a year. So in 157 games, 573 at-bats, Bryce Harper has a .260 batting average. He's not even in the top 50 of players.
No, Tim Anderson had the best batting average in the league, right?
Yep, 335. 35 home runs. He's tied for 23rd. 114 RBI, he's 12th. 98 runs, he's 30th. 372 on base percentage. Do you understand what the on base and everything?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
If you guys don't understand, on base percentage is how many times he gets on base, including walks, hit by pitch, and actual hits. That's why the OBP is normally higher than the batting average. So he has a 372 batting or on base percentage, which is tied for 25th with 4 different players, if I recall correctly. His slugging, which is how many bases per at bat that he gets. So if you hit a home run, that's a 4 on the slugging percentage.
Yeah.
So he has a 510 slugging, which is 50th. He is the second top position player that's not a pitcher in the league, and he is 50th in slugging. His OPS, which is on base plus slugging, that he is 37th at 882. His strikeouts, he's always been a strikeout master. Always has been, always will be. He had 178 strikeouts this past season. That was the 4th most.
He struck out a lot this season.
178 times is the 4th most out of every player who played. Of course, with certain contingencies, I think you had to play a certain 50 games.
Yeah.
He had 99 walks, which is the 8th most. Actually, not bad for Bryce Harper. Usually, he's a little bit lower. Usually, he's
you're going to go into
25th.
that game and your mindset is normally to walk someone like that.
Yeah, typically.
You don't want to give him a
so
chance
you can't
to
give
jack
him.
it.
You can't give him a lot of credit for that. He has a 4.2 wins above replacement, which if you guys don't know what wins above replacement is how many extra wins does this player garner over a replacement level player, so an average player, average Joe McGee. So 4.2, not even in the top 50.
Someone like Anthony Rendon.
Or yeah.
No,
or
he's
maybe
not
not even in the
average.
top 30. I think it's not top. He might be in the top 50. He's definitely not in the top 30. And fielding percentage. He has a 983 field percentage, which means out of how many attempts did he actually make the out? So that essentially that means how many errors did he have on the season? I think he only had 9.
I thought
maybe
I
7.
think he had 10.
Something like that. But he had a 983 field percentage. So 98% of the time you could rely on him to get that out.
Right.
Which is fair. I feel like that's pretty average to
yeah.
above average. So now, let's look at Mike Trout. Arguably the best player in the league. I would say
Who
best player in
doesn't
the
get
league.
enough recognition anymore.
I feel like he's like LeBron James. You can't give him the MVP every year because he's just so good consistently.
Yeah.
So Mike Trout, $33.25 million a year. So he's making $6 million a year more, but for less years. I think he only signed a 3-year contract. So he has 134 games
But
played.
in the long run, that's more fucking money.
Yes. Well, no. Well, if Bryce, they both have $300 million contracts. I'm pretty sure. So it's about the same.
I think Bryce is like 325, right?
Something like that. Oh, actually, no. Mike Trout's was longer because I think he has like a $400 million contract. So it's crazy.
Mike Trout's the highest paid baseball player ever, right?
Yes. It was Bryce Harper, and then it's Mike Trout, not including pitchers.
Bryce Harper fucking robbed the city of Philadelphia, dude.
Absolutely, especially considering they didn't make the playoffs. But
They got eliminated by the Nationals.
yeah. So in 134 games, which fair enough, less games, less at bats, but he in the time that he played, 291 batting average, 32nd, better than not being in the top 50. 45 home runs, he's 5th. 104 RBI, he's tied for 18th. So he actually has less, but then again, 20 less games. And he had 10 more home runs than Bryce Harper did. So his on base, he had the best on base percentage at 438.
In the league?
Yes, in the league. He had the second best slugging and the second best OPS. His OPS was a 1.083. So his on base plus slugging, he got on base 1 base every at bat, essentially. That's the easiest way to put it. That's fucking
So basically,
great.
for those who don't get it, it's basically he either got he hit the ball, or he fucking got walked, because you don't really see a hit by pitch as much anymore.
No. So he's not even in the top 50 in strikeouts at 120. He's never been a strikeout guy ever.
No,
He's
strike
had
out
some of the
much.
lowest strikeout numbers in terms of overall hitting for a long time now. He had 110 walks, so 11 more.
Holy shit!
That's the 3rd most in the league. Now, of course, some of those are intentional in certain situations, all that
I'd
good
say
stuff.
90% of those are intentional.
No, not at all. Mike Trout
I'd
has,
fucking walk him
I would
intentionally.
too. Mike Trout is one of the
Even
most
with the
consistent
bases
walkers.
loaded.
Yeah, I would. Mike Trout is one of the most consistent walkers ever, though. Even if you took out clutch situations, quote unquote.
Yeah.
he still probably would have 90 walks this year.
But the thing is, once you get him on base, that's a dangerous situation.
He's not a gunner, but I mean, he can
fucking
go. Move.
Yeah.
Especially when he was younger. But his wins above replacement, he historically has one of the best wins above replacement ever. At this point in his career, he has an extra, I think, 10 wins above replacement over everybody else in league history.
Yeah.
So he's a monster. And fielding percentage, 987. So 98.7% of the time, just a little bit better than Bryce Harper.
He's a left fielder, right?
I believe that
no,
Bryce
he's
Harper
a
is
center
right,
field.
and then Trout is center. Yeah. So if you look, and I only picked outfielders, I believe. Jeff McNeil might not be an.
Jeff
no,
McNeil's a catcher.
Is he? No, I think he's an outfielder. I'll make sure to put in posts whether or not he was. But if you look,
sounds like a fucking catcher.
if you look at the stats, the only positive element that Bryce Harper has that's within the top 10 is he has 99 walks. That's the 8th most. That is the only thing he has in the top 10. And most of those are intentional. Or not most. That's not true. Not most of them. But he probably earned about 85 walks this year on his own volition. Because you don't see intentional walks too often anymore because pitching's just been really good. But Mike Trout has, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He has 6 of his major stat lines in the top 10 in the league. That's someone who should be the highest paid in the league, not a guy like Bryce Harper. Now, Bryce Harper is a great player. Again, I'm going to say this a million times. He's not a bad baseball player. He's a better baseball player than I could ever dream of being. That's not the point. My point is that he is incredibly overpaid, especially when you look at a guy like Christian Yelich. How much does he make, do you think, Nate, per year?
I'm going to say 200.
I'm talking about a year, per year.
Oh.
Well, how long do you think he signed for? If you think $250 million, how many years do you think he was signed for when he signed that?
So let's say he makes fucking 50 a year.
You think he's making $50 million a year, so you think he's higher paid than Bryce Harper?
Oh,
Mike Trout?
Oh, no, less than that. Than 15 a year.
15?
Yeah.
What if I told you he signed for $7 million a year?
What?
$7 million a year for the next 3 years after this. He signed a contract extension the year before his MVP season, or maybe the year after his MVP season. $7 million a year. So he has 130.
Yeah, but that's the extension money. That adds on to what his contract already is.
His yearly salary is $7 million.
Huh.
So he is at $7 million a year. He had 130 games, 489 at bats, about on par with Mike Trout. He had a 329 batting average. You know what that means? He had the second best batting average in the league.
I don't fucking like him.
I love him. He had 44 home runs before he got injured, and he missed the last 15 games of the season.
Dude, but before he went to Milwaukee, he was fucking ass.
No, he wasn't. He was MVP in Miami.
No, he didn't win MVP for Miami.
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did. Pull it up while I'm reading off these stats.
He has 2 MVPs?
Yes.
No way.
Unless it was the year after he left Miami, he made MVP.
He has 1 MVP, dude. I guarantee you he has 1 MVP.
So I'll just keep reading off the stats. 329 batting average, second best in the league. This is all before he got injured because he missed the last 10, 15 games. He had the 6th most home runs, 44.
Yeah, he's only got 1 MVP.
What year was it?
2018.
Oh, was it? Okay. I know
he's 2-time All-Star.
That's what it was. He was an All-Star. But he was consistently good in Miami even. Look at his stats in Miami. He was still good. Miami was in a shit place. That's why they got rid of him. And fucking Jeter's a retard.
Holy shit.
Sorry, pardon my language. I don't even like using that word. So 44 home runs was 6th. And mind you, Mike Trout has 45. So he was consistently hitting home runs before he got injured.
So you're saying at 275, 343, and 376 was good? Yelich, so... Oh, wait, hold on. He was hitting that...
Look at the year before he went to Milwaukee. That's the year that... Because, of course, you're not going to be good in your first or second year. What I'm saying is the year before he went to Milwaukee, he was very good. So, while he's looking at that... 97 RBI before he got hurt, 25th. 100 runs, 28th. 429 on-base percentage, he was 2nd. 671 slugging, 1st. An even 1.1 OPS, 1st in the league. He wasn't even in the top 50 in strikeouts. He had the 18th most walks. He had the 9th best wins above replacement, and he had a 983 field percentage. So he is making $19 million less than Bryce Harper, and he has 4 stats in the top 10. Doesn't strike out as consistently, just as good of a fielder. And he was an MVP candidate before he got injured. He's still an MVP candidate now. He was consistently on base. He was consistently hitting. He's a monster. He is by far one of the top players in the league. Don't at me. That's not even close.
In 2017, he had a 282 batting average. He was 23rd in the NL.
And if you look at that, that still proves my point that he was better than Bryce Harper.
His only year that was like decent besides that was 2015, where he had a 300 batting average. Other than that,
Look at the rest of his stats, though. That's not my point. His batting average doesn't mean everything. That's why I took into
he had
account every
170
stat.
hits in 2017.
Hits don't necessarily matter. It's how many at bats.
Is this his second season in Milwaukee or first?
No, I think it's his second or third.
Because he won MVP last year. Yeah,
Yeah,
he won
that was
MVP,
with Milwaukee.
So 2017 he was.
What I'm saying is that,
137 strikeouts in 2017.
which still would not be in the top 50.
100 runs. No, he was 19th in the NL that year.
Is 19th least?
It just says 19th.
Yeah, that's 19th least. When you have a stat and you're higher up in a negative stat, that means you have less of that stat.
His on base percentage and was pretty decent.
That's what I'm saying. He is consistently good.
He steals a lot of fucking bases.
Yeah.
He stole 22 last year, 16 consistently. He didn't play 2016. Oh yeah,
I think he
just didn't steal it.
I don't know what he did. I don't know. I think he might have been even injured partly that year. But either way, so you're telling me a guy like this who was MVP last year, MVP caliber this year, should be paid $7 million a year while Bryce Harper is getting paid $26 million a year?
But see, the thing is, he made more money when he was playing in Miami. He was making He signed a $494 million contract in Miami.
Miami decided to get rid of him because they're blowing up their team. He signed a lower contract because...
So at one point, he was the highest paid baseball player.
Sure, but guess what? He's getting paid less now because he doesn't need to be paid as much as these guys. He takes it for the team. So...
Takes
either way,
it more than that.
Haha. So Jeff McNeil is my final player. This
He
is
plays
this
for the
is
Giants,
what,
right?
No, he plays for the Mets.
Oh,
He signed a 1-year contract.
Same fucking team, just different coach.
He signed a 1-year contract. That's not too far off from the truth. 1-year contract in 2019 for $567,714. He signed for practically nothing because he was a nobody. But in 133 games, 510 at bats. Guess his batting average.
262.
318. 6th in the league.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And what did Tim Anderson have?
335. So he had 23 home runs, 75 RBI, and 83 runs.
23
not
home
great.
runs. Yeah, that's
not great. But
that's like mid-season form.
What I'm saying is that when you hit 23 home runs, 75 RBI at $567,000 a year, that is barely a fraction of what Bryce Harper is making. So what I'm saying is that I'm not saying go sign Jeff McNeil over Bryce Harper. I'm not saying that.
Right. It could just be he had a good year.
But what
Bryce
I'm
Harper's
saying,
consistent. The thing is, the reason I'm paying Bryce Harper so much is because he's been consistently.
not the year before they signed him, and clearly not this year.
But overall, his career consistently, he's a fucking monster.
The thing
when he
is
steps up to the plate.
he was consistent the first 4 years in the league.
Multiple MVPs, multiple home run champions.
I'm not saying that he's not a great player. I never said he wasn't a great player. But what I'm saying is that
that's why
I
they're paying
hate
him so much.
I'm not saying that that's not the reason. I understand that. But what I'm saying is when you have guys like this who are getting paid $26 million a year after a year where he had career lows in every major stat and he was showing decline even the year before that, that's the point that I'm trying to make, that teams need to stop being so money happy. I'm not saying that Bryce Harper didn't earn his money. He did. So did Mike Trout. But what I'm saying is when you have guys who are overpaid this much, that's why you need to at least look at your options for the future and front load a contract.
So how much do you think Jeff McNeil should be paid?
Considering I have it right here, the average MLB salary is $4.38 million, but the median Like I take median into account when you have guys that are making $33 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
When you take into account the median, it's 1.5 million a year. I think Jeff McNeil should be paid about $2 to $3 million a year.
Okay, I can agree with that.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, is that I'm not saying that Jeff McNeil should be making $30 million a year and Bryce Harper should be making $4 million. I'm not saying that. I think Bryce Harper absolutely deserved his $25 million, $26 million a year. I think that he just, the problems were arising before he signed that contract. And that's why I was like, this contract, when I was talking to somebody about it when the contract first broke, I was at work. And I'm like, it's going to bite them in the ass for the first 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
Guarantee it. It happens with every player. NFL, it happens. I remember in 2011, I think it was, one of the corners for the Bears. He had like 9 picks. I can't remember his name now. It wasn't Major Wright. I can't.
Was it Peanut?
No, it wasn't Peanut. But he had 9 picks in a year. Now that's really good. But if you look at it, never had more than 3 interceptions before, never had more than 3 or 4 interceptions after that.
Right. It was just
because all of
just
the
a
picks.
good fucking year. That's
you
it.
know what the picks were? The picks were because of guys like Peanut knocking it into the air and he picks it off. So that's why
So
I
they were
get
second chance picks, not.
absolutely. They're doing tip drills in actual games essentially. So that's the point that I'm trying to make, is that you need to look at their trends. Because Bryce Harper, he was great, absolutely great his first couple seasons, but he started showing decline 2 years before, especially the year before he signed that big contract. And that's what makes me hate it, because you see these players, after they sign a big contract, they fucking flop. You see it in quarterbacks all the time, especially. You see it in
Cam
running
Newton's
backs.
the biggest fucking.
You see it in these players all the time, and it's the point that I'm trying to make, is that these players absolutely deserve their contracts. They absolutely have earned them, and they deserve nothing but what they've gotten for the most part. But when you have guys like Bryce Harper, who is clearly struggling right now, I understand he's with a new coach and everything, but you get guys like Albert Hainsworth. It hurts to watch.
Yeah.
Because like I see a guy like Christian Yelich who's making significantly less. And even if the $7 million is wrong, because I will take that into account, because as far as I looked at, it was $7 million a year. I triple checked. Now, unless I'm getting my sources
Now,
wrong.
it could also be. I don't want to say it's like the team, but it could also be the team as well.
Oh, it could be, of course, because that's why you get guys.
Because Ryan Braun's also on the Brewers too. And
Sure.
he's a fucking monster still.
But what I'm saying is that you get guys that doesn't affect Christian Yelich. That would maybe affect his walks, and that would maybe affect sometimes his on base percentage. It could affect it in certain ways. But when you have guys who are, you could take it to hockey. You throw yourself into a hole, because thankfully for them,
this is where I got confused.
thankfully for the MLB, they don't have as much of a salary cap. I think they technically do, because you can still get luxury taxes. That's what the Red Sox are dealing with right now, like who to keep, Ramirez or Mookie Betts.
Dude,
I would keep Mookie personally,
Yeah.
but
they're not going to.
no,
though.
they won't. They can't
He's gonna
keep
go
both
to
of them.
fucking. He's gonna go to Oakland.
White Sox, please. Please, White Sox. I would love to have Mookie on the White Sox.
All right. So the fact that the Cubs are searching for a new manager, please, for the love of God, do not bring in David Ross.
I think that'd be funny. Oh, that'd be really
Joe
funny.
Girardi's our best bet.
I can almost guarantee they're signing Joe Girardi.
He would
I
bring a
called it
World
right.
Series, but he's gonna bring a World Series to Chicago if we get
We'll
Girardi.
see.
Everyone's like, oh, Joe. David Ross will bring a World Series. He played with Madden, so he's like Madden 2.0. No,
That's the worst thing to do.
David Ross fucking won multiple goddamn Super Bowls.
Super Bowls. Wow.
Shit.
Man, multi-talented.
Yeah, right. No, he won multiple World Series in Boston, and they had to fucking play against someone like Joe Girardi, and I think that's why bringing someone like Girardi in, it would be good for the Cubs, because he's got multiple himself. He's got multiple World Series under his belt. He's managed for 20-something years, and this would be David Ross's first year managing a baseball team. Like, give him time somewhere else before we bring him into the.
Sure, I can agree
into
with
the
that.
fold.
I really don't. I don't really. I've dealt with managerial.
You're
like
welcome
having
for
to-
Ricky Renteria.
Yeah, I've said a million times that Ricky Renteria got the shaft for the Cubs.
Oh, yeah.
He helped build that team with Epstein, and he helped turn that team into a contender, and they fuck him over once Madden came around. That's what their plan was entirely in the first place, and I was super happy when the Sox got him.
What they should have done is they should have moved Ricky Renteria somewhere on the put him as a bench coach or somewhere in the fucking
I think that they shouldn't have
bullpen.
gotten rid of him as a manager.
No, they shouldn't have, because our bullpen, when we had Ricky Renteria, our fucking bullpen was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And then Madden came in, and here all of my baseball game I play on my phone, my username is Cubs bullpen sucks. Because we have
It's
no
trash.
fucking bullpen.
Yeah, how's that? Hey, you want to talk about overpaid athletes? Look at what is it, $40 million a year for your guy's closer?
Pedro fucking Strop.
No.
Piece of shit.
No, was he really? Who did the Cubs just sign that was playing for Boston?
Oh, Craig Kimbrell.
Kimbrel, yeah. How's that working out for
Dude,
you?
what the fuck? I was excited about that signing, and then he just sucks ass. It's like, what the
trash.
fuck?
Oh, that was so funny. I wanted the Sox to sign him. I absolutely wanted the
Dude,
Sox
and
to sign him.
the same thing with Pedro Strop is when we re-signed him for the amount of money we did, I was pissed. I was like, this dude is not fucking good.
You know what I find funny? I think I mentioned this before. The difference between you and I when it comes to sports is clearly evident when you hear both of us say, when we reference our teams, I say da-da-da, like I say the Bears, the Sox, the Hawks, or something like that, and you say we. I find that really funny. Because I used to be someone who said we a lot when I reference my
I
sports
don't know
teams.
why I say we.
A lot of people do. I used to. A lot of people do that. But I have the same ideology as my dad. I started picking this up independently because my dad does sometimes say we, I think. I don't know if he does, but I just don't consider myself a part of the team. I support the team. I buy shit from the team. And I do a lot in terms of like monetary. Well, I don't do a lot in the grand scheme of things because they make $1 million more a year than I could ever fathom. But I still support my team to a certain extent. But I don't consider myself part of the team to any degree. Like, I mean, I am just as much a part of the team as, you know, that guy who sits outside of the stadium saying, "Hey, anybody got extra tickets? You want to buy some tickets?" Any of those fuckheads?
Yeah.
I make just as much for the team as that guy does. So I don't say we purely because I don't agree with me being a part of the team. Unless I am under contract with that team in any sense, like I could be an accountant and I would still say, I would actually say we at that point because I'm part of the organization. But I don't say we. Sometimes it will slip out because it's like heat of the moment, but I just don't consider myself a part of the team. I don't consider anybody a part of the team.
If your Packers are owned by the fans. So
even a shareholder, technically you can say we. But at that same time, you have no decision in the team.
Right, but you are in a way an owner of the team.
Sure.
So you can
technically say we. Sure, but that's just my point is that every other team you have no excuse to do so. Like you feel a part of the team. You feel a part of the team. It's like, yeah, I love these guys. Woo, I'm rooting for you. I watch you every single week. But I mean, really, you're not part of the team. You're not. You're really not. So I just find that funny because it's happened a couple of times. I know that we got worked up with Danny on the podcast.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I hope that I'm like, fuck, I just said we. I feel like a goddamn idiot because I just said we when referencing this week's matchup against the Bears and the Raiders. It's like
this is Austin's nice way of telling me that I'm fucking idiotic. And
I'll call you
a
fucking idiot no matter what. I actually, one of these days, I'll go back through our podcast and see how many times I tell you to shut up or call you a fucking idiot or something stupid like that.
I do have some interesting things I do want to. Well, one thing I want to mention at the end of the episode here that I have not run by you, but I think you might.
It's pretty much the end of the episode.
I want to introduce a segment.
Ooh.
It's called Finlay's Flicks.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna go and I'm gonna review movies.
Okay.
Not ones ones in theaters and ones that everyone has seen, but some people haven't.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
And
anyone
it's
who hasn't
be
seen
like
Breakfast Club is missing out.
It's kind of going to be like a spoiler-filled segment running down the movies and giving it a grade. It's like if you watch, it's like a combination of Roger and Ebert and Dean's List from WGN Morning News.
Except for not as well put together or as intelligent.
I mean, it'll be a little bit put together, but like
Well,
not as intelligent. Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. But
So I mean, yeah, I mean we could do that. What would be kind of cool is if we did that and have it as 2 segments. Like we have the full episode.
Oh,
and
I'm
we
down
do
with
that as an
that, yeah.
offshoot. So that we'll essentially have the same we'll have the same setup and we'll have it, but we'll just do like in a clips format. So then we can move that over from the actual episode just in case we have like full topics to talk about too. So we can keep it in the main episode or we can split it off if there's a bigger topic. So we can always work on that as well. So
this week I drew a fucking gourd.
I was wondering what you were doing most of the time, and it turned out to be not as exciting as I was hoping.
I can make it into a pheasant. Hold on.
Well, while he's doing that,
Now it's a fucking. Oh, it's a fly now, but it was a pheasant. It went from a gourd to a pheasant to a fly.
All right, this has been the Floor Chapstick Podcast. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. Hopefully, next week we have another topic because lately we've had topics and they've gone really well.
Yeah.
I think a lot better than the first couple episodes.
Shout out to everyone in the world fucking up. Thank you. We appreciate you because without you, we wouldn't have shit to talk about. So keep on fucking up.
And keep on fucking on. Bye.
Keep on fucking on. Whatever.
All right, bye.